Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nintendo Fuse podcast. This is episode 279, and recording this live on October 23rd, 2023. And my name is Steve, and of course, I am joined by Barry and Greg. Barry, how's it going?
It's going great. Happy to be here. Hello, everybody.
And also, Greg, how are you doing?
Things going pretty good. Sorry for the different background change, everyone. Just because I was in my kitchen today because I have my daughter in the other room. So
I
always
know
great to
people
be
are
here to talk
they're
games.
they're they're so disappointed. I can tell. I just
Yeah,
from this, the absorbing from the speakers and just the people are just cursing and going crazy. They're like, Greg, how dare you be in a different background?
For some reason, I want a banana now, though.
I don't know why.
I mean that was featured in Nintendo Direct, so I mean, there is a connection there, So I could
Yeah.
just be holding it up. Oh, wrong
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. Hey, on episode 279, we're going to be talking all about Super Mario Brothers Wonder and several other news stories that have been coming out. An update on the Lego Animal Crossing, a chance for you to go to Universal Studios and see Super Nintendo World yourself for free from My Nintendo. Several other games and holiday or Halloween events and game giveaways and all that stuff that we'll be talking about. Also, kind of an update from President Doug Bowser about the future Switch, but not really. We'll get all to that in just a bit. But before we jump into any of that discussion, we just want to remind you to follow us over on social media at Nintendo Fuse. If you have not done that yet, please do that. And also, if you've never joined our Discord server, be sure to go over there. It's a growing community that we have just to talk video games in between shows and so much more. The link is on the screen if you're watching the video version, but all those links are going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description as well. Speaking of that YouTube description, we are live right now as we record this on YouTube. You can jump in the live chat and let us know what all the things that we cover. You can let us know your thoughts as well, the games you've been playing, and all those sort of things. If you have never joined us live in the chat, we'd love to have you there. And if you're watching after the fact, you can use the comment section there on YouTube as well. But yeah, we'd love to get into, as always, what we've been playing here at the very beginning. So kick us off, Barry. What have you been playing?
Yeah. So last podcast, I was gearing up for Wonder, and I was like, well, I got 2 weeks. What should I do? So I actually played a myriad of games, although they weren't all great. So I was still playing Pokemon Unite. That's a given. I did go back to Pokemon Scarlet again. There was a Ducidide raid, so I was able to get that. And it was the first one of these 7-star raids I actually soloed, which was really cool. And then I helped my wife get them as well. These are always challenging raids, but a lot of fun. And then I decided to play a little Super Bomberman R2, which came out recently. And about 15 to 20 minutes into it, I turned it off and said, yeah, I'm done.
Oh.
And that saddened me because I'm a huge Bomberman fan. But one, they put tower defense in Bomberman. No, that's not what Bomberman is. And two, the most egregious thing is that enemies and yourself can now walk through bombs. And that's like one of the staples of the game. So when you're trying to defend, so you place bombs in the enemy's way and the enemy just walks right through the bomb. It's like, no, that's a fundamental thing. Like you're supposed to trap yourself and kill yourself. Like that's part of the challenge is bomb placement. So with that out of the way, I'm like, yeah, I do not like what you did, Konami. I do not. This is not good. This is not fun. So that was my short time with Super Bomberman R2. I then went to Detective Pikachu Returns, which also just came out, and I wanted to finish this game, and I got halfway through it, and I stopped. And some people might be listening, going, "Oh, is it because of the graphics?" Now the graphics are okay. You could tell this was a 3DS game. Graphics are fine. They're not the greatest. Fine. The problem is that I love detective games. Absolutely love them. And especially this year, we just had Master Detective Archives Raincoat come out, which is a fantastic game. And the thing that's great about those games is you get a mystery, whether it be a murder mystery or whatever, and you start to guess in your head who did it. And by the time you get to the conclusion, you've already gone through like 10 different suspects. Everything you thought in the beginning was 100% wrong. And that's half the fun, is figuring it out and seeing how it all comes together and solving it. Detective Pikachu wants to be like that. The problem is they give you a mystery. The first thing you think of, oh, it must be this. It is that. But it takes you an hour worth of gameplay for the characters to suddenly realize this. And it's like, no, this is boring. It's this. Like, no joke. This is the truth. The first thing, because I don't think you guys are going to play us, but the very first mystery, there's a missing item. And Pikachu comes across a Cramorant who is complaining about a stomach ache. So, logically, you think, well, maybe he swallowed it. It can't be that simple. No, it is that simple. But they don't just figure that out right there or help the poor Cramorant by rubbing his back or something and help him throw up the item. Instead, they say, why don't you come back to the mansion and waddle your way there in stomach ache and self-loathing and misery, and then we'll figure it out afterwards. The poor guy's like dying. That was it. In the whole, you're going through the motions. Like, do I really have to go to the park now? I know it's right there in the Cramorant. Like, just there. So it just frustrated me. It was way too easy. I might play it with my kid when he gets a little older. If this is your first detective game, it's great. But just know your first guess is going to be right. So I didn't finish it. So then I went to, still in the Pokemon mood, I went to New Pokemon Snap, which is a game I didn't play. Came out last year, and I really liked it. My wife and I had a lot of fun. We didn't unlock every area, but we had fun going through the different courses, taking pictures. Very much an improvement on the N64. Highly recommend. But I didn't play it to completion because I ran out of time because Mario Wonder came out, which we'll talk more about because I played that. On the PC end, I've been playing a lot of 14. New patch came out. 6.51 is dropping tomorrow. I don't know, it's next week, next Tuesday. 6.5 has been going on, finishing the story, doing the raids, working with my static, and they just had FanFest this weekend in UK. So we finally got a new job coming and new info on the expansion. So a lot of hype, a lot of excitement for that game. And on mobile, despite Nintendo trying to kill it, I'm still playing Mario Kart Tour.
Nice. If you are, just another reminder, if you're joining us live, be sure to let us know what you've been playing. Also, let us know on the YouTube comments afterwards. But Greg, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Yeah, so I finally finished up Pikmin 2. So, like, I completed the last cave, and then following Jakester's advice, was able to grind out 100 purple Pikmin to get the very last item. So I did my 100% completion. And I pretty much did like the Pikmin series as a whole from like easiest to hardest. Like I felt like 3 was the easiest, then 4, then 1, then 2 being the hardest. So I don't know how I was able to manage that, but I guess it is what it is. I then jumped into the Mickey's Illusion Island, which I kind of touched base a little bit last time, and then I've actually fully beat that and went a full 100% in 12 hours. So it's only a $40 game, but it was definitely a very fun game to play. It's like a Metroidvania style game for Mickey, but you can't actually attack any of the enemies. You have to pretty much dodge every single one of them, and they certainly made things very difficult at times. So like there's like a challenge that they want you to do to beat the entire game without dying, like to get the game over screen. You do have like health bar thing, like similar to like Link or whatever. Like you have like heart containers that you can get from stuff that you collect, but pretty much they want you to do they call it Iron Mouse mode, and I did not do that, where like you just basically can't see the game over screen, or actually will force you to delete your save file and start over again. So if you do get like the game over on it, so there's that's kind of fun there too. So I didn't want to do that.
Disney edition.
I know I wouldn't expect that for like a Disney game, but I did pretty much 100% everything else. Got all the other accomplishments and found all the collectibles and all that fun stuff for normal completion rates. But that final accomplishment, no thanks. Then pretty much had that wrapped up just in time. Then played Super Mario Wonder, which I'll be all diving into in a little bit here. And then still on mobile, I've still been enjoying the Simpsons Tapped Out Halloween event, and still interested in pursuing that further because there's lots of stuff that I've missed over the years. So that's still fun there. And then still playing Roblox and stuff with my daughter. Some of the different games have like Halloween events and any other random game that just finds like, oh, play this one. And sure, why not?
Nice. Look at the chat. Husson's joining us, and he said that he's been playing Fortnite. Also, some Super Mario Wonder. I'm playing a little bit of on his MetaQuest 3. More Beat Saber, which is always fine, and Super Hot VR, which is really cool. So, yeah, I'm glad. Hassan, you need to let me know what I should play on my Quest 2, because for the most part, it just sits around collecting dust. So I would love to know what I should be doing over in VR. I fire it up maybe like once every other month and see what's new, and then I don't touch it again for another couple months. But yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Go, traveling a lot more, so it's been cool. Like anytime you're in a really public place or an airport or something like that, it's fun to fire up Pokemon Go because there's tons of Pokemon with all the Pokestops and everything like that. So that's been fun just to keep collecting and see what I can continue to get in that game. And Rocket League as well. Not a ton of Rocket League because I have been traveling lately, and I've gotten where I do not like playing it on Switch at all. So I only play it on my Xbox anymore.
Wow.
So yeah, I haven't played on Switch in a long time, but I've thought about it like while I'm traveling, and it's just not. I can't do it anymore. It's just controls. I need analog triggers for one thing, and I don't think I can get 60 frames per second when I'm in handheld mode. I think it's only at 30 as well, and so it's just not good at the level that I play at. So did play some Disney Speedstorm that came out a couple weeks ago, I guess, and played that. It's a Gameloft kart racer. It's actually pretty good. There's one issue with steering that I do not like. I basically, like, when you turn in Mario Kart, you can like instantly drift. You just hit that jump button and you instantly drift right into it. You have to be turning first before you hit the drift button in Disney Speedstorm. And so if you hit it before, it makes you drift the opposite direction than you want to, and it's a pain. So that's unfortunate. But everything else is really good with it. I enjoyed the game. It's fun, and it's free, so that's great. They have a bunch of things that you can pour money into, but I haven't done it, and I'm still enjoying it. Played some more Tears of the Kingdom, just like I have the last several weeks, just chipping away at, getting more shrines and eventually making my way around. I'm not exploring, like, just climbing mountains nearly as much anymore. I'm actually, progressing through the game, so that's been good. But I still got quite a ways to go to beat the game. But yeah, I'm not rushing through it. I'm just going to enjoy it while I can, because there's tons of game there. And also played a game called Train Simulator. Train Sim World 4. I played this on Xbox, and so it's basically a train simulator, and you will. It's if you really enjoy trains, I'm sure it's a blast. For those of you that don't enjoy trains, it's really boring. And I think the biggest thing about this game is you have to be like, it's a first person sort of view. And in order to look at things or enter, even climb the ladder or open a door on a train, you have to be facing the exact right spot before you can hit the button to do it. And like, it's not just a general thing like, oh, there it is, let's climb the ladder, or there's the open door, or there's the whatever the button you have to push. Like, you have to be like straight on, and it's really annoying. And sometimes I ran into some glitches where I was doing everything I was supposed to get the train moving, and it didn't move, so that wasn't fun. And then I played another simulator called Firefighting Simulator: The Squad. That was on Switch, and got a review copy for that. And And Jakester also got I passed on one to him, so he's supposed to be doing some impressions on that. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel to see more of Firefighting Simulator: The Squad. But it's okay. It kind of seems like maybe a Wii U game. The best. It's like slightly better than what you expect on a Wii game, but it's okay. It's you get to drive the in the fire engines, and you get to drive to the things and rescue people that are, in a house, and put all the hoses together and go over and put out the fire in the house. And you can play online with other people, or you can play with AI, and you can assign them to do certain things, but sometimes they're dumb and they don't do what you're telling them to do it. So it's confusing. And I also realized that either the first house that I was saving, either it was built in the UK, these people who either built the house or made the game, or it was based on an old-fashioned American house, because there was still an actual door to the kitchen. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. There's something going around not too long ago that people are like, wait, people don't have doors to their kitchens in America? I'm like, no, not modern houses. Anything after like probably 1970 something, I think they stopped putting doors in the kitchens for the most part. But apparently the UK still has doors to the kitchens. So that's apparently what house I was getting at, because there's supposedly someone trapped in the kitchen. And I walked all the way through this house, put out all the fire, and I could not find the kitchen. Nope. It was a door through the dining room, and I didn't realize that. So anyway, it's an okay game.
My house was built in 1959, and while we don't have doors per se, we do have sliding doors for the kitchen.
Okay.
Where it's like hidden in the wall, and you like hit a little button and you could pull it so you can close off the kitchen. Nice. But normally we keep them open.
So that was the transition period, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like it that way because you get the best of both worlds.
Well, totally. Yeah. Because sometimes when you're cooking, like it's loud. And if you're in the living room or something like that, and you're like, man, would you stop making so much noise in the kitchen? So, but anyway, that has nothing to do with video games whatsoever. And then I also played some Super Mario Brothers Wonder that we'll talk about in just a bit. Going back to the chat, looks like Hassan said his Quest 2 didn't get used as much. There's something about Quest 3 in the updated pass-through and hand tracking that just makes it so much more convenient to use. So that's cool. Yeah, again, just let us know. What's that?
He bought Train Simulator too.
Oh, did. Oh, my comments didn't auto scroll, so I didn't see it. So that's cool. Wait, Train Simulator. Yes, Train Sim World 4 is the one I was playing on Xbox. So yeah, so I think that brings us basically to the end of what we've been playing other than Super Mario Brothers Wonder. So let's jump into that. We don't really have a whole lot of news to discuss on this episode, so we're going to dedicate the majority of this podcast to Super Mario Brothers Wonder and kind of give not necessarily a full review, I would say, but our first impressions of playing the game over the last couple days, and let you know what we think so far. So let's jump into that. And yeah, let's start with just talking about our general impressions of the game. Barry, what do you think of Super Mario Brothers Wonder so far? Just in general, 30 to 45 second overview.
It's definitely more of a return to form. It gave me a lot of Super Mario World vibes. Now, I did like the new series, so I know some people don't like the new series. I had no problem with the new series. I just like 2D Mario. But this made me feel very much like a kid again. I'm playing Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World. And nice. I think the Wonder effects were handled really well. And I look forward to each stage, seeing what they were. And there's very few repeats. Most of them are unique.
Cool. Greg, what do you think?
I pretty much agree with, a lot of that. I wasn't really against the new Super Mario Brothers series as a whole, but I definitely feel like was getting the burnout that I think a lot of other people got, because it was, even though it was only 4 games and only like I think it was like a good 5, 6, 7 year period even between the 4 games. Um, but I don't know. It just was. I felt like it was getting kind of stale at that point by the time the new Super Mario Brothers U came around, and I definitely would agree to Barry. It's definitely more of a return to form, and I think closer to in line with like Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World, where there's a lot more of those kind of tiebacks to the like those. So like, yeah. So generally, I think it's really definitely very much impressed me, and I've had a lot of fun with it, and just can't wait to continue playing through it.
Cool, cool. So yeah, if you haven't been paying attention, Super Mario Brothers Wonder kind of does go back to that 2D style, but includes a lot of different aspects that have been included in some of the 3D games that they've had over the years, but also shaking it up and doing some completely new things with some power ups, but also the Wonder flowers and Wonder seeds and all these different things, different playable characters, and all that sort of thing within it. One of the biggest things that I've noticed within the game is the animation. Like there's so much animation in this game, and so really creates a brand new experience. Not like the new Super Mario Brothers series, which I think is great. I am glad they decided not to just do yet another new Super Mario Brothers game. They've really shaken it up and added some new things that I think are really cool. So Barry, how far have you gotten in the game?
I've 100%ed it.
100%. Wow. Okay. Greg, how about you?
I am doing the 100% route, but I'm only like in World 3, so like
Okay.
I've completed the entirety of 1 and 2, and like at least the available levels around like the tide area, like in the center.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
and I've also done like the special world, like for the first level, World 1, and the special level for World 2. So
Nice. Yeah, I think for me, I think I'm probably right around the same place as you, Greg. I'm in World 3, and I think for the rest of this, impressions and everything, I just want to make sure that you guys know ahead of time. We're not going to spoil anything like big. Like I don't want us to, like, Barry, don't tell us how the end of the game is. But as we talk about the game, we're probably going to have some minor spoilers about it, because we're going to talk about different powers and different things that have been added to the game and things like that. So if you do want to avoid all sort of spoilers, anything that even comes close to spoilers, you may want to skip ahead. On the video version, we'll probably put the time code later after the fact. But yeah, we'll avoid spoiling the end of the game. Although I'm guessing, hey, you beat Bowser. That's probably what's going to happen. But I didn't spoil that. That's just what happens in every Mario game. But we won't tell you exactly how
Oh.
anything happens for
So
sure.
I shouldn't talk about how Bowser actually wins and you become zombie Mario.
Oh.
Oh man, I shouldn't say anything.
Oh man, and that is a big spoiler. So, but
Does
yeah,
Nintendo create a third timeline for the Mario series? Mario's defeated.
There we go.
The
There we go.
defeated timeline.
So yeah, I played. One of the reasons why I'm not as far along is because I played through World 1 and most of World 2 on my own. And then I went back with my wife and we played co-op for a lot of those same levels, so that I didn't want to start like a brand new file or whatever. So I just went back and we played a good chunk of those World 1 and World 2 together. And I enjoyed it, like both the single and the multiplayer. I think it was nice to not have multiplayer like where you're jumping on top of each other and annoying each other, like it was in the new Super Mario Brothers series. When the multiplayer, that was kind of a pain in the butt. Did either of you guys try multiplayer? Barry, did you try it?
Not local, but online.
Okay, cool. Greg, how about you?
I didn't get a chance to do either of them. So like I had told my fiance Kelly about like all the about the game, and then she immediately bought it, and then she said she wanted to play together, but we never ended up, like, I created a room, but then she never ended up joining the room. So like she never
ghosted
actually
you.
like joined up, unfortunately. So I
Nice.
don't have no really offer for that part of like this smaller segment, I guess.
Okay. So Barry, I did not try online yet. What'd you think of online?
It was good, but I think honestly, I love playing Mario solo. I think it's just because that's just the way it was growing up. It's doing that. Even when you did multiplayer, it was alternating turns. So I did like the first world and a half without even connecting. I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother connecting. And then I decided to connect. And I don't know if you did that where you played single but connected online, so you see the
Not yet.
ghosts and other people. It is a changer. It is so much fun. Like it's just the fact of seeing other people, and you can like it makes the game a little bit easier in the sense of if someone else discovers a secret, let's say they're climbing a beanstalk and you see them just climb off the screen, you go, there's something there. Like it kind of can help you. The standees is really cool too because if you're online, you have a heart point, and the more you help each other, the more points you get. It doesn't do anything; it's just an arbitrary, pat in the back number. But you could place the standees, and then other people can use it to revive, and you could use other people's standees to revive, which is really nice, even when playing single. And it's nice, like you get to the flagpole around the same time. It's like everyone did it, and you slap five and everything. You're all happy. But it definitely made some of the later levels, the really, really challenging levels, that much more fun
Hmm.
because it was like, oh, even if you're struggling, you're seeing other people struggle too, and it's something like, I'm not alone. I'm not suffering alone. Like Greg mentioned doing the special worlds and special world in the second one in the world two. That one gave me so many problems for
Hmm.
the longest time, and I beat it, but I watched other people, and it was like, yeah, I'm doing it. Up, they died. Bye. Like, oh, there I go. Now I'll see you back at the start, and it just made it more entertaining. Like you didn't even mind the deaths as much because you had company.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, there's a couple times where like you had to go searching for hidden, items or
Mm.
whatever, and I I wonder if I was online, like I probably wouldn't have had to
So-
go searching for online to actually find
Oh
like
no,
a walkthrough
those
of something.
rooms are so much more fun because
Yeah,
everyone's searching randomly and
nice.
like you can. It's kind of like everyone scatter, anyone find it, and
That's
people will
cool.
leave stands where things are. Like if they
Cool.
find something, they'll leave a stand to be like, oh, there's a stand here. Maybe it's just a hidden platform, and they'll put a stand on it, and you see it like a floating stand, and go,
Nice.
maybe there's something there. So it kind
That
of
is
makes
cool.
it more like a community.
Yeah, that's fun because I didn't turn on online because I was afraid that it was going to be annoying to me.
Oh
Like I
no,
thought, I'm like all these people running around. I'm like I'm just going to get distracted by them, and I'm afraid just going to jump down a hole. Um, but
I
but
did
it's
that
good to hear
happened to me
that.
once.
Did it? Okay.
They will rescue you then, though. You just run to them
Oh,
and
that's true.
get rescued.
Good.
Yeah, I did turn on the thing, and I don't know. I have almost like a love hate with the standy things because it's like some things I want to try to discover on my own because I still try to just
Mm.
go down every single pipe. I try to find hidden blocks that might have beanstalks, or like try to guess the pit that has the thing where you can go down instead of like traditional like going above the screen. But then like the standy things can be used to mark a lot of that stuff, and it I don't know. Like sometimes it's like a kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it if you pretty much know where the stuff is, almost like you've played the game like 18 times and you're like, oh, I know this coin's just right over there, and like it's just so clearly marked at times, and that's I don't know. That's why I said it could be useful in some of the actual levels where you're not really necessarily looking for secrets at every turn because they do provide like you a way to easily come back to life without like getting a game over or whatever, or having to restart the level from a checkpoint or at the beginning, and that part's very beneficial. But like how it could be used for marking secrets is the part I kind of dislike about it. But it's I don't know. It's I almost would rather play with them on because there's certainly times that it really helped. But,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
I will say,
on that
if
special
you're
world
on the
two,
fence, hold on.
I was just wrapping up with this, but on that special world 2 thing, I had to pretty much do the entire thing on my own because like I think everybody dropped out after how hard it was. So like there were people that
Yeah,
were trying to like float up to where I was, but I like can't stop because it's like the level is supposed to make you keep going so
yep.
fast.
Yeah, people are always like, help me, help me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not stopping. I'm dead if I stop. Like you're on your own. Sorry. That in that level. I will say this, and I learned this. If you're in a level, because like when you connect to a level, it's almost like you connect with other people, and you can connect with other people playing like locally. Like you'll see two characters together. But when they complete the level, once a level has 4 people, like that's it. No one else can enter this level. So when you play a level long enough and everybody either completes it or quits out, and you're by yourself, the game kind of takes pity on you and will occasionally throw in random people. They appear as colored icons. So like if it's Mario, you'll see Mario's silhouette like in blue, and it's somebody else from another game. Now they won't know they're connecting with you. You only see them, and they could raise you and they could help you, but you have to, if you die, they're gone. Like that's it. Like, and if they die, you can't help them. It's like they're like a ghost. It's almost like a weird ghost. And then it seems to only occur because it only happened to me in one level. That it took me so long that that this was happening. So it's an interesting thing. So you're not like stuck lonely for a bit. They do kind of like, ooh, someone joined me. Oh, when they died. Okay, I'm alone again.
So that brings up one thing. There's different aspects of the game that we'll talk about in kind of over the course of the next several minutes. But one of the simple aspects I wanted to see what you guys thought about is basically, I mean, with few exceptions, the removal of the timer. Like, do you think it's a good experience to not have that time ticking down the whole time, or do you kind of miss it? What do you think, Barry?
Oh, I love it. I love it because this almost feels like it's still a 2D Mario, but it has a lot of 3D elements to it in a sense, and it allows you the freedom of exploration. And when a timer is needed, they still put in timers. Like the special world we were just talking about in World 2 has a timer. In a especially with the mystic seeds, some of them will have, or the flowers to get the seeds will have timers. So when they really want a timer, it's there, and it, and it's like, oh, I gotta actually pay attention and rush, and it kind of gives that little bit of a frantic thrill. But otherwise, I like just going at your own pace. Especially some of the later levels where if you had a timer, I think it would add frustration and not fun. And
Yep.
honestly, if you're one of those people that, oh man, I really missed that timer, you know what? Most people have a phone. Set a timer on your phone for 200 seconds and hit time. And when that goes off, kill yourself and try again. Like if you really want that, arbitrarily make it more difficult.
Yeah. Greg, what do you think?
I mean, I have to kind of agree with that method, Barry, because I know Nintendo likes to do that. Even with voice chat, you got to use your phone. So, like, if you want to set your own timers, like,
See?
you need to provide
There
your
you
own
go.
timer. So that's usually the Nintendo way to fix those kinds of things, So, but
Exactly.
thankfully, I don't really miss it much at all because, like, as Barry said, there are a few levels that do have it, and like some of the Wonder Seeds like do require it and stuff. And I almost like didn't even see it like the first few like times that it like showed up, and I was like, oh wow, where did that timer come from? Like, what happens if it like goes out? And like, I guess I don't really want to find out, but it was always longer than really needed, anyways, because I do try to collect every single one of those purple bits that come on the screen, but sometimes they're so hard because some things just like shoot them out like confetti, and then it's like, well, I can't grab every single one of them every single time it shoots out, but I do try to grab all the bigger ones, and it's still a lot of enjoyment. But at least some of the earlier levels, like if I like collect like the third star coin thing or purple coin star, then and I missed like the second one or the first one, I'd be like, all right, well, I guess I'm backtracking, and then it's fun to be able to go back and try to grab it and find it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there are a few levels where they don't let you go back all the way because you might jump through like some semi-solids or something, and then you can't get all the way back. But I don't know. Have been a few levels where I have been able to go all the way back to the start and try to see where I missed something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it's been nice that it allows you to explore a little bit more. And Jakester said in the chat, next part of the Switch app is added a game timer in there. We're just gonna add that in there. But yeah, I think it's really nice, and my wife even commented on that too when we were playing together, because I think sometimes when you do play multiplayer, like the chaos of having multiple characters on the screen does add to that, and if you also have a countdown timer the whole time, it just becomes an anxious experience. And so when you remove that timer, all of a sudden, like, we're able to just enjoy this game together, and it was a really good experience. So let's talk new power-ups. So we have elephant Mario, or elephant power-ups. guess it's more than just Mario, but the elephant one is kind of the main one. They really push a lot at the very beginning of the game. It's the first one you get, and it's pushed quite a bit in the game. It's kind of the main one you see in the box arts and all that stuff too. But you also get the Fire Flower came back, the drill, the bubble, and are there any others that I'm forgetting?
Fire Flower.
Fire Flower. Yeah.
is
So I
there.
think is there
Okay.
mainly just the 4?
Just those 4 and like
Those
Star.
and Star. Yeah. Okay. So Barry, what do you think of the that level there, that list of power ups, and especially the new ones?
You know, I always like a lot of power ups, but I feel in previous games when there's a lot, you usually tend to favor, 1 or 2 and the rest get left on the wayside. Like in Mario 3, for example, everyone remembers, of course, the leaf and the fire flower and maybe the frog suit. Not many remember the Hammer Brothers suit, maybe, or the P-Wing or the Tanuki suit because they were less used, and the same with future games. And sometimes they're kind of detrimental. Spring Mario from Mario Galaxy 2 can just go die in a fire. So I like the fact that they kept the staple Super Mushroom and Fire Flower, like and Starman. They're very much staples, and then just added just a few and utilized them. They weren't just power ups for power up's sake. Like there were levels tailored around the bubble, around the drill, around the elephant, and of course badges help supplement a lot of that other stuff too, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I think it was a good list. I mean, some people might be missing like the ice flower, but it wasn't needed in this game. Leave it as is. If I had to pick an extra power, I would bring back the Bunny Mario from Mario Land 2. Like we haven't seen that in so long. Like let's just do that again. Come on, you brought Raccoon Leaf back.
Yeah. Greg, what do you think of the power ups?
I didn't get a chance to unlock the drill yet. I don't know if that's by design or if I just didn't find it and if it made an appearance before where I got in the game. But there's that part of it. But yeah, it's great to see like the major returning like Fire Flower and Star and everything there. And I feel like I'm actually using the Fire Flower a little bit more because like I feel like a lot of times I get so hung up on the other ones and they don't always throw out some of the other power ups. So it's like Fire Flower tends to last a little while, like when I get it, because they actually allow pretty much a lot of the enemies to get defeated by it. So like even the ones you wouldn't normally think, why not like some of those big like puffer like spiky fish or whatever, they were like indestructible in Mario 3, and then now like give them like 3 or 4 fireballs and they're defeated. So
yeah,
I do find myself using that a lot. The elephant one is very well used, and as Barry said, it's very like all the stages that have it are pretty much have like that designed for you to try to keep it as long as possible. So it's been a lot of fun, like trying to shoot water and all the different things, and being able to break certain blocks that you normally can't, and it works pretty well. I was actually kind of surprised that like the stomp, like I think it was jumping on some of the enemies or like even like running into them that you would think that an elephant would like take them out or whatever. But I was kind of surprised that you kind of just take damage. But I don't know. It's probably makes
swing
it
that trunk.
hard that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys as well. I think like this is probably some of the most, I guess, used that the power ups have been before. Like you're like, oh, I know exactly why this power up exists, and they've given it to me to enhance this level or to allow me to do different things that I need to do for these levels. And I think they're very like they're varied very well. The elephant power up is completely different than the drill, which is completely different than the fire flower. And so you don't just have replicas of different power ups. They're all very, very different, which is great. Barry, you mentioned badges. So badges is a brand new thing to the Mario series, which kind of almost, I feel like, makes up for the lack of power ups because you get to choose what badge you put on as you start a level. So some of those badges allow you to wall jump more. Some of them allow you to glide when you jump, kind of a Luigi from Super Mario Brothers 2 style. And some of them will start the level with certain things. So maybe you get a power-up mushroom at the very beginning of every level, or you get a a thing like will save you from falling down a pit or falling into lava one time throughout a level, things like that. So those are extra things that you can attach that are able to be used multiple times, one time, or automatically start the level. They all have different styles, but it brings a new element to Mario. What'd you think of the badges, Barry?
I really like them. I wish there were more of them. I feel some of them are definitely more useful than others. And again, there's definitely levels where a certain badge will make it significantly easier, and others that will make it significantly harder. But I would have liked a little more. Um, some of them are really like I don't ever want to use, but they exist, and that's cool because it creates challenge, like the invisibility. Like I hate it because I don't, I can't see, but there's interesting thing. I know a speedrunner who's very good at Mario decided to beat the final level invisible, and not saying any spoilers, but there was actually dialogue specifically if you're using the invisible that you don't normally see. Obviously you fight Bowser. That's not really a spoiler. And Bowser will say, "You think I can't? You think your little badge is gonna fool you? I can still see you." And I'm like, that's really cool that they took the time to program in specific dialogue if you were to do the last level completely invisible.
That's cool. But wow, that's got to be so difficult.
Yes. Oh yes, very much so.
Yeah, for someone that is not even jumping on like the extra hard modes they add to Metroid, I'm not going to be invisible either. I may try one level, but it's going to be like level 1-1. That's good.
Well, see, that's one thing. Even in talking about the badges, I think we also need to mention the badge levels because
Mm.
some badges you actually get just by buying them, and sometimes you get them through doing badge challenge levels. And I honestly love these. I think these are brilliant because one, you don't lose a life if you die. You can do it as many times as you want, and two, it's a tailor-made obstacle course um, for that badge to teach you how to use that badge. And I think that's brilliant. There's no penalty trial. It lets you actually experiment with every single badge. There's a reward for doing so, and makes you a little more confident. So
Yeah,
I give Nintendo mad props for that.
yeah, those are really fun. Greg, what do you think of the badges?
They've been super incredible. I really like a lot of the references and throwbacks to like the other stuff. So like, there's like the cap hat, like the cap badge that allows you to be like Princess Peach all the time and just can like kind of hover in midair for a little while. And there's even like the Super Mario Brothers 2 jump where you can like crouch and then you do a super tall jump. And you can like the play as Luigi mode and like he does even like jump a little bit higher and also does like a little fancy kick and give you little slippery controls and so all that stuff is just great how they're able to work all that stuff in and reference it and everything. So um, I've been really enjoying unlocking them too. Like the you guys were just saying, like even the stages that are crafted towards them have been really incredible. Like I've made sure to try to find all the coins and like that first dolphin kick one really took me off by surprise because it was like you have to like really try to speed run the entire level just to get all three of the coins and that was kind of tricky to do. Like and
Yes, you
that's one
do.
of the first badges that you get. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
was definitely not expecting that heightened attempt to
Yeah,
just try to get everything. Like I even
that
told my
third
fiance,
coin.
it's like it's like, oh, it took me like 7 times to beat this. She's like, well, I beat it my first try. I'm like, did you get all three of the coins? Because that's what I was trying to do for 7 times. Of
yeah.
course, I could beat it because you can't really. It's pretty hard to die, but like,
I was so confused the first time you go through because I was like, I thought I did what I was supposed to do. How do I get those other? Oh, it's a time thing.
See, and that's
Yeah.
where they're giving you an arbitrary
Yep.
timer.
Yep. Yep. It's pretty cool. And yeah, there every one of those is man, it hooks me in every time. I'll try it multiple times, even after I beat it good enough to get the third. I'm like, I can do this faster. I can do this faster.
Yeah.
and I'll spend, a couple more tries to try to get as fast as possible. And those are really fun too. I think that's the a cool aspect of the game is like are those speed run kind of things compared to your friends list as well? Can you can I see how fast you did it?
Oh, I don't know about that.
If they did, I hope they
I don't
did.
think so.
If they did, like they did on Super Mario Odyssey and stuff. Like to be able to compare against your friend list and stuff, that would be really cool because that's
I don't.
replay value.
Yeah, that would be smart.
That'd
Hmm.
be
What
that's free replay value. But I didn't see it, but maybe there is something there. But
they also just talk about replay value. They at the end of every time you beat a level, they take like a random snapshot.
Yeah.
And I wish that they gave you an album. All you could see is the last snapshot. And I'm like,
Hmm.
how would that's not like? Why would you do this and not give us an album?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
You were telling me all I could see is the last shot
Yeah.
taken. That's so silly.
Right.
You you show me
Yeah.
every level. You're showing me a snapshot. Put it in a photo album.
Right.
That's not a foreign concept.
Yeah. I was wondering because I was like, oh, I want to share that, but I don't know how unless I just tap to take a screenshot at that moment. But yeah, so let's talk about the big part of the game. Like, there's lots of big part of the games, but the Wonder Flowers and how they completely changed the game up. I will say from the very beginning, the second world one where they start singing was like, what the crap is happening right now? This is ridiculous. You get a bunch of piranha plants going into song and dancing around. And I was like, this is just seriously a mushroom trip. So like literally was a flower trip on this. So yeah, what would you guys think of the different ways the game changes up and all that they've been doing with the Wonder Flowers?
I love the effects, honestly, and I've noticed like my wife has watched me play, and even my son has been watching. I don't know what he comprehends, but my wife was like, "These are really good." Like charm, like the singing, she was like, "That's so adorable." And like I could see in her head, like she's already picturing playing it with him as he gets older. And I'm like, "Yeah, it's good." I like that it kind of keeps you on your toes, and a lot of them are themed around the level. If it's a level that has a lot of balloon enemies, suddenly like there's bigger balloon enemies and they're bouncing you all over the place, and you got to, you know, it keeps to the theme. And sometimes like inanimate objects come to life and living objects turn to like stone. It's like, wait, what's going on? Everything's flipping around, or the camera turns perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
which is really trippy at first because like, whoa, hold on. Uh, I I think that they do a really good job, and one of the I think one of the ones I noticed that was besides the singing, because that was definitely this is Rayman. This is now Rayman. That's what we've gone
Right.
into.
Yeah.
But there was one level where like there's a herd of like buffalo, and I think it's early on, and they like, take out the goalpost, and I'm like, oh,
What do I do now?
we're really freaking going here. All right, this is certainly something new. I love that. I love that it subverts your expectations, because like I was just talking earlier about detective games. I don't want to find out and guess it right away the first time. I want to be surprised. I want to be challenged. I want to, not know what to expect. And there are a few repeats, but they're few and far between. And even when they're repeated, it's not like that big of a deal. It's been a long time, and it's a new world, and it feels fresh again. So I love them. I
Yeah.
think they're great.
Cool. Greg, what do you think?
yeah, they're definitely absolutely fantastic. Some of them are even like really well hidden. Like, every stage is going to have one, and then sometimes like they're a lot easier to find, and other levels like you have to like touch like some of the smaller flowers all in the correct sequence and all that stuff, and then for it to finally spawn. So it's definitely very cool when like that you come across some of them, because I even kind of referencing back to the ghost mode, like I just saw like someone just like it suddenly turned into a vertical level because I just saw like their thing like way up off screen. I'm like, oh, I guess there's a wonder flower on the screen because they just went way up there. So it's like
Yeah.
I was like in like the World 3 level that I was in. So I was like, all right, so then just a little investigation and like boom, there's the flower. And like it's definitely a nice way to kind of change it up, and it just makes the level completely different. And like suddenly now we're in a vertical section, and then, so it's it's very cool the way they implemented a lot of those in the different stages.
Cool.
And making everything like unique and different.
Yeah. So we praised the game quite a bit so far, but I want to know, just give us a chance to, is there anything that's kind of stood out to you so far in your playtime that you're like, I wasn't a big fan of this aspect? Barry, anything?
I always feel this way about games where you kind of go through a honeymoon phase, you know, when you get a game brand new and you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, absolutely the best of a series. And then after you beat it or after you've had some time to digest it, you kind of like, you know, this wasn't, it was great, but it wasn't as high as I initially thought. And I think I feel this way about this game too. Like initially, I was like, this is like the best 2D Mario game. And I think now that I've beat it, I've taken a look back, I feel it's kind of short.
Hmm.
Like, and I don't know, maybe it's I'm misremembering, but I feel like Super Mario World is a longer game.
Hmm.
And maybe it's just because Mario World had a lot of hidden exits, and this game does have some hidden exits per level. But I feel like there was a lot more in Mario World. Um, you know, and then it had the Star Road, and then it had like the actual special. Like I feel like they've done bigger games in the past, and a lot of the levels in this are short. They're just the little trials, or some of them are just like break time, and it's just like you're in a bouncy room and there's 5 flowers to get, and boom, you win. I'm like, oh, that was great. That was a break, but that's almost padding.
Hmm.
Not saying it's a bad thing. I enjoyed those levels too, but I just feel like I wanted more.
Hmm.
Like it left me wanting more. And I'm not saying like the challenge was absolutely was there, and you could obviously artificially increase the challenge. And I'm not even asking for a lot of challenge. I just want more. The game left me wanting more levels, more to explore. Usually you get 8 worlds, and here you get 7 worlds, and I'm like,
Hmm.
wait, you could have had an 8th world, and then yeah, special, eight worlds and a special. Or look at Mario 2, right? You had 9 levels plus an A, B, C, D. you know, uh, give it go crazy. Even with Mario 3D World, right?
Hmm.
You had the initial 7 or 8 worlds, and then you went up to another world, then you went up to yet another world, and then once more. Like it just kept going. Like I was expecting that, and I was like, oh, there's no way this is really the final battle with. Oh, I beat it at the end. Oh wait, there's got to be like a question mark.
Right.
No. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, I guess that's kind of a spoilery. But when you go to Bowser, you go to Bowser. There.
Hmm.
Um. So I think that's it. I think my one negative is I want more, and if I want more of something, that tells you it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Greg, what do you think?
I mean, I've really enjoyed what I've played so far, and I mean, pretty much the only thing that I had the major problem with was just like that little standee thing. I was kind of could be spoilish at times, but that's more of like a smaller nitpick, and that's certainly not going to like mean that this game is not worth getting at all or anything like that. It just that's and you can't really control what other people do like with those things anyways. But and you can
Mhm.
actually turn them all off, but sometimes they provide guidance on levels where you may need them. So I mean, overall, I think the game has been great, and I don't know if like the number of world things was slightly like lower, but it seemed like a lot of the worlds were like really, really big. Like I was like, geez, like I must be getting first like close to this first castle by now, and it's like, oh no, it's another scrolling area with another 3 or 4 levels on it. Like, okay, what about now? Nope. Here's one that now there's like a branch path that goes up, and then there's one that goes to the right, and then it's like, oh well, there's the castle there, but then like, well, I want to finish the rest of the levels in the world before I like take the castle on because I thought I was like just finding more paths, and then but it was like, okay, well, there's the castle, and now I need to go back to this area to go up to see what was up this way, and that's like how I found like the special world and stuff. So it's like it's certainly felt like the worlds themselves were a lot longer than normal. Where like Mario 3, it was just like 6, 7 levels per world. Then like you moved on to the next thing, and there's like 10, even though like maybe 3 or 4 of them are break levels or badge levels, and but I don't know. It still seems like there's a lot more content there too. But and even with
Uh,
the Wonder Flowers being in every level, they're also kind of longer levels too. It's not just a straight up like 300 seconds and you can beat it in like 100.
The levels also, not the levels, the worlds are also uneven. Like
Mm.
some worlds will have like 36 Wonder Seeds or 38 Wonder Seeds, and others will have 21. And you're like, or 20, and be like, whoa, like this one world is like double the length of this other world, and it's like that feels like was something cut. Like why? Like there was one world that I was playing, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm just getting to the new part. Wait, what do you mean I beat it already? Like that was the end? that was the final level. Like I
Mhm.
thought we were going to a whole nother area, and we're not. Like that's it, we're done. I'm like, okay, that was
Mhm.
really short. Like, so I think they could have, even if they wanted to keep the same amount, pad out the levels more.
Mm.
Um, the game is built to be obviously non-linear, which I love. Like you only need 14 seeds to beat the world, but you could get up to 36. Great. That gives you tons of replay and tons of options. But when there's only like 20 in a world, it's like, wait, what the heck is
Yeah.
going on? So I wish there was a little more balance in that regards.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me it also has to do with the worlds and the map feature. It's so different than previous 2D games that it kind of left me confused. Like, where am I going now? I thought I was already in World 2, but apparently I was in the hub world, and then I have to unlock World 2 by doing other things, and so that was a little confusing at the beginning. And like, okay, what am I supposed to do next? Because there's not just a very clear linear path. There is a linear path, but there's so many variations that you can do within it, and you can skip so many things, but not everything. And yeah, so all that, I feel like you're capable of flying through the game pretty quick because, like you said, you only need 14 to unlock the castle. But if you want to spend a lot more time in the game and do 100%, you can do that and get quite a bit more game because there are so many seeds. But yeah, it's a very small nitpick. I mean, we're we're at tiny things that we're picking out that we don't really like about this game. Overall, it's been a really good experience. Before we wrap up and move into the headlines, any last minute things that are on your mind that you'd like to talk about before we move on? Barry, anything?
My only thing is you were talked a little bit about like the online features and all that. The only negative to that is that requires other people playing, and I feel like right now it's prime. You're going to get players every time you connect. You're going to get a lot of you know, people helping out. You get a lot of experimentation with, discovering things. I noticed that you get medals. There's 6 medals to earn, and if you have medals, it actually shows up next to your name, so you can
Mm.
see not only people's heart points, but if they've already beaten the game and if they've done other things. And I've seen a lot of people with medals going back and just like helping others, which is really cool. But I feel like all of that is going to die. I'm not saying by tomorrow, but eventually when people move on to the next big thing, less people are playing it. It's going to be a lot harder to find people playing, and you're going to be playing this game virtually solo. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want that community aspect, I hate to say it, but it's one of those where the sooner you play it, the better, because you're going to have a better experience. Otherwise, it's just like playing solo.
Yeah, Greg, any last minute thoughts?
I didn't quite realize all of that, but yeah, that does make a lot of sense. What Barry was just saying with all the to play it sooner than later, but I'm sure like at least this holiday season will be spiked up too. So I
Oh yeah,
think that time away is thankfully probably not until next year, closer to some of the other big Mario game releases like the Peach game and everything. But the one thing that did kind of cross my mind is what you were just saying at right your last comment with like going into World 2. It's like, well, I thought I was already in 2, and then but then they did show the path where you go into World 3. So then I was like, well, maybe that's a secret exit. So then I was like replaying that level a few more times, trying to see if I could find it. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess maybe I'll just have to be something to come back to. And then here I beat World 2. And I'm like, oh, I was supposed to beat World 2 to unlock, like, to go into World 3. Like, it's just right next to it. So I don't know, it's still kind of a smaller nitpick, but yeah, it's kind of think that there's something there, then there might not actually will be, but it just
oh,
yeah.
that actually reminds me of another little nitpick that to alleviate what Greg just said. If on the world map, because I didn't realize this, I was like, oh, I don't care about the purple coins or the 10 coins, whatever, like no big deal. It's not tracking that, because all it tracks is the wonder seeds on
Uh,
when you look at a world. But if you push L and you bring up the course list, it tracks if you touch the top of the flagpole, if you've gotten all the 3
oh,
coins, and if you've gotten all the wonder seeds, because you need that for all 6 medals. You need to 100% every level. You don't need to beat the stage with every single character like some other games, thankfully. But I didn't realize when I first was playing it that even tracked, because if you don't push L, you don't see that.
hmm,
And it also will show you a check mark in that screen on a level that you've 100% completed. So you
Mm.
know, oh, there's nothing else to do in that level. I have completed it. It will also show you a check mark for the world if you've completed the world 100%, and it will show you, I think it's a green, like the amount of the seeds will turn green when you've completed that world's seeds, and you'll get 100 purple coins as a bonus.
Hmm.
So you'll know. But yeah, that if you don't push L and choose a level to warp to and look at that, you may not realize that's stuff that is counted and needed for 100% of the game. So you may be like, oh, I wonder if there's a secret exit, because I did the same thing Greg did. I saw that island to the east and I was like, there's something there. How do I get there? Maybe it's another exit. But had I looked through and I saw a check mark, I would have been like, oh, okay, well, I know there's nothing.
Yeah.
So that I wish it was on the actual world map, but no, it's
Yeah.
only in that other menu.
I could definitely see why they would put that behind there, because for the casual player, they're like, hey, I beat beat everything. I don't need to be reminded that I forgot stuff, but you can easily access that behind a menu if you want to see it. So I could see the pros and cons of if it's there for everybody or not. But I'm glad they at least put that in there. I didn't know it. I'm learning it right now.
There
So
yeah. You have to look and see how many things you missed in previous levels.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually didn't try to like leave to the next world until I had everything. I mean, I figured they had to track it somewhere, and then I did find it when I was in World 2, and then I went back to make sure everything was all. At least I had all the purple coins. I think there's like a level or two where I have all the seeds and all the purple coins, but it's not giving me the green check mark. So
that means there's something else there.
You didn't reach the top of the flagpole. Things like that are like, oh my gosh, I gotta go back and do that.
I did. I've been doing the flagpoles like as I get them. They've tracked that in like Super Mario 3D World, so it's I knew that's been part of the requirement, but like I looked at the menu and I was like, I have the top of the flagpole, I have 3 coins, I have both Wonder Seeds. Why is it not checked? And
yeah,
I guess
because there's still something else.
Nice.
Apparently.
Nice. So yeah, I think I definitely enjoy this game. You know, Mario does sound slightly different in this game. I don't know if you guys noticed his voice, but it's ever so slightly different. It's got a little more of a gravel to it, but it's so similar that I'm like, I forgot about it until I thought about it. I was like,
I
oh
played
yeah.
mainly as Luigi, and I didn't notice a difference really. And like it sounded so close.
Yeah, I've only played as Luigi. I've barely even heard Mario say anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even think I really even noticed stuff from like the trailer that his voice was really that much different than Charles Martinet.
It's
very, very
so slightly different.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like it is very noticeable, but like the new guy definitely made it like very enjoyable and very good because he still sounds a lot like Mario.
Yeah, they didn't take it in a different direction for sure. They basically said, "Hey, recreate what he's done already." So, well, if it's not been obvious, I think we are all very have very high impressions of this game, and if we were to review it, I think all of us would say yes, go play it. It's a great game, and like we said, if you want those online aspects to be able to play with others, play quick before you miss your chance. If you're playing a year or so down the line, you probably won't have near as much fun online because there won't be as many people playing it by that point. But yeah, it brings us to the end of our Super Mario Brothers Wonder discussion. But there's some more to talk about because there have been some little stories to go on, and like we've said earlier, a couple updates from last episode and some different stories that we've talked about in the past. So Greg, you want to kick us off with this week's headlines?
Sure. So yeah, the Lego Group and Nintendo have announced the Animal Crossing Lego set. So that was just announced here on the 10th of October. So pretty much Animal Crossing now for the first time will be in the Lego brick form. So it's going to have pretty much they continued their main experiences to have new ways to play Animal Crossing. So that some of the earlier sets will be like Julian's birthday party, Bunny's outdoor activities, Captain's Island boat tour, Isabel's house visit, Nook's Cranny and Rosie's house, and some other stuff to look forward to. So if you're a big Lego fan like Husson, then be adding all these to your list.
And if you want to add something else to your list, how about you add something to your holiday list, like a vacation? Doesn't that sound great? Well, you maybe can do that for free because My Nintendo is doing a special promotion right now until December 27th. You can spend 10 platinum points, which are free, to enter to win a 2-night trip for 4 to Universal Studios Hollywood to visit Super Nintendo World. This prize also includes the travel, ground transportation, hotel, and a 2-day general admission ticket to Universal Studios. So, I mean, you might as well. There's only a billion other people going to enter, but maybe you'll get lucky. Good luck.
And if you've enjoyed what we were talking about with Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Nintendo has released an Ask the Developer. This is the volume 11 of their Ask the Developer series. They have a 4-part series over on Nintendo.com where you can hear from 5 of the different people behind the game and learn all the behind the scenes, what led into the different aspects of the game, the transformations, and all the different things that we've talked about. They lay it out for 4 different parts for this interview, so make sure you head over to Nintendo.com and check out this interview all about Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
And Halloween is right around the corner. It's 8 days from the day of this recording, so if you're looking for some trick-or-treat type ghoulish items or goodies in different games, Nintendo made a nice page to outline the different some Halloween events. So in Splatoon 3, they're doing a Halloween-themed Splatfest, and then Rocket League, there'll be some of the Nightmare Before Christmas. Fortnite will have you going in like as vampires and get a wood stake shotgun, and then New Horizons got the standard pumpkin fair and growing pumpkins and helping out the Able Sisters stock up on candy. And Overwatch 2, you can pretty much do some trials and stuff that help you unlock other things as well. So you can be sure to check out Disney Dreamlight Valley, Pokemon Unite, and Fall Guys and Apex Legends for other Halloween-themed events.
Well, speaking of events, at a recent event, the one and only Doug Bowser was asked some questions about the new system, the Switch 2. And he told us the Switch 2 is coming next year. It's going to be called the Super Nintendo Switch 2 XL, Lite. No, I'm just kidding. None of that. But what he did say is that he was talking about the Nintendo accounts and about how every single system you had to re-up and do a brand new thing. So going forward, due to the Switch, is that they're going to have the Nintendo account carry on to future systems during the transition. And people are starting to speculate, oh, we're talking about this now. Why are you talking about this now? So get those Switch 2 rumors going about. But Doug Bowser pretty much confirms your Nintendo Switch account will go forward, which is a good thing. Nintendo's finally learning 20 years later.
And then we also have another update from No Gravity Games. If you guys have been paying attention to our podcast in the past, we like to let you guys know about No Gravity when they do their giveaways. So all of these games they're giving away, you have to basically jump on the very first one. If you don't have it, you just need to buy that one, and then you qualify for the subsequent games after that every day for a period of time. I believe it's usually over a week or 10 days. And it starts on the 25th of October and goes all the way to the 31st of October. And like you said, if you buy the first game, you can go back and get the second one for free, the third one for free, and so forth. Just check out their website, nogravitygames.com, and you'll see all those games, like I said, starting on October 25th, 2023. So, it brings us to the end of our headlines. Quickly, let's go around and just any thoughts on any of those, Barry? Any thoughts?
Yeah. So I mean, Lego Animal Crossing one, like that happened the day after our last podcast. I saw the sets. I immediately showed my wife, and she was like, "Yes, yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." But of course, we have to wait till March. But I'm happy to see that, and I hope this leads to Zelda. And at the same time, I also hope it doesn't, because that'd be more things to buy. My Nintendo World Sweepstakes. Good luck if you're going to enter. I mean, I've entered a few of these, and it just seems like a way to get rid of platinum points that are going to expire. But it couldn't hurt. I mean, good luck. As for Super Mario Wonder developer panel, I love hearing the behind the scenes stuff. So that's definitely something cool, and I'm glad Nintendo's doing it. As for the holiday events, I think that's part of the charm of playing games that do have, seasonal things. Like it kind of gets you into the festivities. Like even now I'm playing Pokemon Unite and it's got the Halloween theme music, so it's like it's getting me kind of in the spooky theme, and the Halloween event is back, which is a lot of fun. And it kind of brings an extra level of joy, because it's like as a kid you would watch cartoons and something, and like the Christmas commercial would come, like suddenly Fruity Pebbles commercial had Fred and Barney dressed as Santa and all this stuff, and it'd be like, oh, it's that time of year. Like you just kind of feel that joy. So it almost brings me back to being a kid again and being like, oh yeah, cool. I love these type of events. So keep them coming. As for Doug Bowser, I know he's not allowed to say anything, gag order, all that stuff. But at least we know we don't have to set up a new Nintendo account, because that's probably what they would call it. And I like that No Gravity does these. I've done all the other free games. All you have to do is have one of their games. So if you don't, there I have a lot of discounted games to get started. And they're all going to be Halloween themed, which I'm not a big horror guy, but free digital games is free. I mean, I'd rather them be physical, but this is better than nothing. And so make sure to do it every single day to get them to keep getting 7 free games.
Greg, any thoughts about these headlines?
Yeah, thankfully, I think I'll be able to skip out on the Legos this time around after thinking that the Mario Legos would be a lot more fun, but just turned into like a few play sessions here and there, and so it'll be nice to have a switched off on those for the time being. Before our podcast, I entered into the sweepstakes, so I hopefully have a chance to win. But I feel like, as Barry says, it just feels like the coins just go into the void and like nothing happens. It's like, did I actually enter this, or do people actually win this? But yeah, whatever. I do like the behind the scenes stuff. I've always loved when Iwata always had done like those Iwata Ask stuff, so I will probably be looking at those in the coming before the next podcast, because I do like watching those. Yeah, the Halloween events are always really great. Pretty much I'm not really playing any of those games that they listed, but they do have it going on and tapped out for the Treehouse of Horror, so that's still fun to be in the mood for that. And yeah, it's kind of great to hear that the Nintendo account will actually be going forward. Hopefully it will allow us to actually play some of the games that you downloaded onto your account. So if you are buying the digital games, hopefully you can actually still use those going forward. But who knows? Maybe they'll charge us an upgrade fee and you have to pay another $60 to play Mario Wonder on Switch 2. I don't know.
Yeah. Just a couple thoughts for me. I'd say the developer interview. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading through that. I might wait until I finish the game first, so I can kind of see all that they're talking about and everything. But always look forward to those kind of things. And about Doug Bowser, I think it's interesting the way he's phrasing different stuff. Like he's basically saying, we're going to make sure that we communicate things well. And Nintendo account allows us to do that. And so he's definitely skirting around a lot of things he could be saying. I hope that everything goes as we want it to, but who knows? But he wants to make sure that everybody understands it and they can communicate it well. And so that was the biggest thing that he was kind of saying in this latest interview, which I was like, just let us know. Just let us know. So you don't have to like be freaking out and thinking you're going to make a worse decision or something. So that brings us into the headlines. We're going to quickly go over what games are coming up over the next couple weeks. But just a quick reminder, if you've not followed us on social media, we're at Nintendo Fuse. And also we have a Discord. We'd love for you to join that. The link is in the description, but also in the YouTube description and the show notes as well. But looking to the next couple weeks, our next podcast is going to be recorded live on November 6th, 2023. But until then, we've got some games that are coming out, so we're going to be scrolling them as usual on the screen, the video version, thanks to Metacritic for that list. And some of those ones that you'll see on the screen, but just wanted to kind of highlight is Archetype Arcadia comes out on October 24th. In fact, a lot of different games are coming out tomorrow on October 24th, including Metal Gear Solid Collection, Pickleball Smash, which I thought was funny because it's like pickleball is taking over the world right now. It's probably not going to be a great game, but of course there's a pickleball game. And Just Dance 2024 and Roller Coaster, or that brings us to the end of the highlights for October 24th. And then we also have Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures Deluxe, which is a weird name, but whatever. But that's Roller Coaster Tycoon is coming on November 11th or November 1st, sorry. And then My Time at Sandrock is coming on November 2nd. Star Ocean: The Second Story R on November 2nd. WarioWare Move It on November 3rd. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero on November 3rd. And Football Manager Touch 2024 also comes out on November 6th. So what are you guys going to be playing? Any of those or anything else over the next couple weeks, Barry?
Now that I did Mario, I'm going to be doing Spider-Man 2 on the PS5, and that's going to take me most likely into November. And November, like you said, right at the freaking start, Star Ocean Second Story R, WarioWare Move It, and Pokemon Scarlet Violet, the second part of the DLC, are all games that I want to play. So I don't know the exact order. I mean, WarioWare is probably the quickest. I can probably get through that and move on to like Star Ocean or Pokemon. But yeah, that's just the start of November, and doing all that with a kid, that's fun.
Yeah. Greg, how about you?
Will probably be mostly Super Mario Wonder. The WarioWare game does sound very interesting. I did like how it's like kind of more themed like the Smooth Moves on Wii, with its more like about poses and stuff with the Joy-Con, so it does make it a little bit more enjoyable to get. But I don't know if it's going to be like an immediate day one purchase or what with that yet. But I'll probably be mostly just Wonder at this time and see what game I jump into after that.
Nice. Yeah, I think for me, it's going to be a lot of Wonder over the next couple weeks, and probably a little more Tears of the Kingdom as well. I don't think there's any of the new games that I'm definitely going to jump on. I did get a review copy of the updated songs and everything for Just Dance, so 2024. So I'll probably talk about that on the next podcast. But yeah, probably just going to be spending more time with Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom, and maybe I'll jump on a couple of those other games that are on my backlog that I have not touched in a while, that Barry is disappointed in, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I know Greg's got to head off pretty soon, so we won't spend a whole lot of time here at the end. But anything going on in your lives that's really exciting you want to talk about before we wrap up today, Barry?
Yeah, briefly, I just want to talk about some pre-orders over at Premium Edition Games, because we have Anuchard and Lonesome Village up, and next week we have Sunshine Anthology going up. But today, Raji Second Chance Sale went up, and They Bleed Pixels went up 2 weeks ago. So if you haven't picked up those are in stock. Check them out. They're fantastic games, and make sure to get the pre-orders in, because those developers do great work, and they really appreciate the support, as do we.
Cool. Greg, anything big going on in your world you want to talk about before we wrap up?
At least not really before the next podcast, but I know we got some plans and stuff. We're already looking at doing some Christmas like viewings and stuff, getting tickets for like the local zoo and other stuff like that that's ongoing. And I did get some tickets to the Disney 100 event that's going to be here in Chicago, so that's also kind of exciting too. So pretty much that's neither of those will be before the next podcast, but just fun stuff that's been being planned out for the month of December.
Cool. Well, one thing I'll put out there, if you're listening to this podcast and you need a reason to jump over into our Discord, what I would love to do is if you dress up as some sort of video game character, post a photo in our Discord this year. Maybe we'll do a little costume contest sort of thing this year. So look over there, post your photos. I'd love to see. We would love to see if you dress up as a video game character this year and have some fun over in our Discord for Halloween. But like I said, we're going to be back on November 6th, 2023 with episode 280. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.